Tim, back again. Third time's a charm. We're in August now, and happy to have you back.
Thanks. I'm very interested to do this romesco sauce. It's one of my favorites.
All right, we're gonna pair that up with the flounder today.
Pan-seared.
So why don't we get rolling right with the fish that we're gonna be using today. We actually went out to the fish market early this morning, right? And picked up a whole fish, and we're gonna show you how to fillet it. So we're gonna start right from the very beginning. We have 2 examples here of some nice flounder and haddock. I'm gonna get started with actually filleting the fish. And what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna start by, I have some roasted tomatoes, roasted garlic, and some pan-seared almonds and a chipotle pepper, and I'm gonna make the romesco sauce.
Excellent, excellent. So we'll come all together all at the same time. Beautiful.
How does the average person tell if a fish is very fresh?
That's a good question, Tim, about freshness. One good way to tell is the eyes. You look at the eyes, make sure they're not cloudy. Nice clear eyeball is a good telltale sign. Also opening up the gills and looking for a nice pink, fresh look to the gills.
Yep.
That's a good telltale sign also. And also by pressing the flesh of the fish, if it bounces back right away and it's nice and firm, okay, that's a nice fresh fish. If you press the fish and it doesn't bounce back, you probably want to shy away from that one. And I'm going to start with the flounder.
Okay.
All right, so it's an example of a flat fish. We get the flat fish and the round fish. I'm going to start with the flat fish.
While you're doing that, I'll start in the romesco sauce.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is take the almonds, those in here, and these have already been toasted. This is the chipotle pepper. This has already been pan roasted as well. And what we do is we put it in some hot water, cover it with a little plastic wrap, and it separates the skin from the flesh. So after that, we're going to take a little bit of red wine vinegar, pour that in, and get this started. You may want to pulse it a couple times at first. Then you want to take the cover off and just scrape the sides down to make sure you get all the bigger pieces all folded in.
All right, so on the flounder, there's basically 4 different fillets on the flounder. There's 2 on the front and 2 on the underside. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just cut a line down the center to get to the backbone. I'm just trying to get a spot so I can get my boning knife in there and just start running the knife down where I feel the bones, running right along the top of the bones. And the fillets are coming right off.
I'm going to continue with the romesco sauce by adding tomatoes that we've oven roasted, again wrapped in plastic so the skin separates and all you have is the flesh left, and some nice toasted garlic. As that all starts to come together, we'll slowly add some olive oil. Now this is Spain's version of a tomato sauce, which the fishermen started using when they would come home with their fresh catch. These are some of the ingredients they've probably had in their home at the time. A little bit of fresh salt, cracked black pepper.
I got 2 fillets off there so far. I'm going to turn it around and get the bottom.
What I've got here is just some ordinary flour. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to it to season it. Then when Dave's done filleting the fish, what we're going to do is dredge the fish in the flour. So the flour has some nice seasoning to it. Put that in a nice hot pan with some olive oil.
And the last step to preparing these fillets is to remove the skin. Clean up the belly portion a little bit. Remove that. And to remove the skin, just make a little incision from the flesh part down, just till you hit the skin. And then you take, I'm going to switch knives to a fillet knife. And basically what I've done is I've just gotten down just to the skin, and now I'm going to pull back on the skin and run the knife flat on the board, and the fillet should come nicely detached from the skin.
So now I'm going to start searing off the flounder fillets by dredging them in the flour, which has salt and pepper in it. And like I mentioned earlier, you want to take off the excess. Make sure you don't get too much in the pan. Just a little bit of olive oil. A nice hot pan. Here we go.
All right, while you get that in the pan, Tim, I'm gonna go ahead and start preparing our second dish. We're gonna utilize the haddock that I have here. We're gonna fillet that up and make a dish called haddock fillets and papillote. And that's gonna feature.
What does that mean?
Well, that means basically we're gonna bake it in parchment paper. Okay, it's gonna steam, it's gonna have some nice fennel and other flavors steamed into the fish with some lemon juice and chives. Right, so I need to get started on filleting this haddock here. The haddock is a round fish, is only going to have 2 fillets. Start with my boning knife, and first thing we got to do is remove this fin here. This can be a little tricky to get underneath the bones.
You want to be careful as well that when you're sauteing something, you don't overcrowd the pan, because then what you do is you'll end up steaming it instead of cooking it. So we have plenty of room here in the pan. As you can see, it's starting to smoke a little bit. It's exactly where we want to be.
I'm just going to start and show you. Start here at the backbone. Just go right down the center. Start making the first incision right into the fish. You're trying to feel for the backbone, and just running the blade down the top of the backbone. Make a slice here, right by the head. All right. Now we just keep on, now that we have that first incision made, just keep on running our knife down those bones.
Don't be afraid if your pan starts to dry out a little bit because of the flour. You can always add just a little bit more oil. And you don't want to play with it too much because you'll break up the fish. Just kind of leave it alone and let it do its thing in the pan.
All right, we got 1 fillet. All right. Come back on the other side. Same thing. We're going to start with the back.
You'll be able to tell when the fish is done by if you just break off one of the little flakes, and you'll see that it's clear all the way through. This is just about where we want to be. So what I'm going to do is take this out of the pan now. Make sure it doesn't stick too much.
All right, I almost got the second fillet. I also have to remove the skin, just in the same way that I removed the skin from the flounder. Made a little incision down to the skin from the flesh.
There you go.
There we go, we're in. All right, and just run that knife flat down the skin. That comes right off. I'm just gonna portion them. Probably get 4 nice portions.
How many ounces per portion are you looking for?
About 4 ounces. That would be a good recommended portion size.
I have a fennel bulb that was sliced up.
That has a kind of a licorice flavor to it,
Yeah,
doesn't
it's like
it?
an anise type of flavor. Then we have some shaved carrots.
Beautiful. I already start to see the colors coming.
Yep. And then some leeks, which are a member of the onion family. Now we have everything in the pan. We're going to adjust the seasonings a little bit with some salt and pepper.
We're not looking for a real heavy saute here, right? Because
Just sweat them out.
Yep, exactly. Sweating is just to release their flavors. Because basically what's going to happen, they're going to be baked in the oven again. So they'll finish cooking in there. That'll be great. So over here on my cutting board, I just have 2 pieces of parchment paper or wax paper. Basically what's going to happen is once the vegetables there are sweated, we're going to put them down in the center. We're going to put the fish on top of the vegetables and squeeze some lemon and lime juice over the top of them and wrap them up and put them in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, and what happens inside the paper is the fish actually gets steamed with all those nice vegetable flavors. Like I said, 400 degrees, about 18 minutes or so, and they're gonna come out beautiful. And when they come out, you're gonna see a nice plume of steam come out when you open up the packages.
Yep.
The aromas really hit you, and it's just a beautiful dish. Very impressive for your guests too, if you're entertaining.
Cool. So the flounder is seared off. I have my romesco sauce all heated up and ready to go here. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the romesco, put it on the fish, just a little bit like that on each fillet. There we go.
All right,
A little bit of garnish.
Look at that.
How's
Simple,
that?
Tasty. I got the poppy oats out of the oven now, and all you have to do simply just put it right on the plate like that. And when you present it to your table, you just open it up, look right inside, get a nice steam.
That looks great.
All right, nice white fish, chives there, and all the vegetables on the bottom all ready to go.
Fish seems to be cooked well, still moist.
Oh yeah.
That's really good.
They both are. In this one, you know, the fish is just cooked beautifully. It's flaking apart. It's still nice and moist. And you get just a nice hint of the fennel, the anise taste in there.
Thank you for viewing this episode of Men in Aprons. Fish is a good source of protein, and unlike fatty meat products, it's not high in saturated fat. Fish is also a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. This type of fat benefits the heart of healthy people and those at high risk or who already have cardiovascular disease. Research has shown that omega-3 fatty acids can help decrease the risk of arrhythmias, decrease triglyceride levels, aid in slowing the growth rate of atherosclerotic plaque, and lower blood pressure. The American Heart Association recommends eating fish, particularly fatty fish, at least 2 times per week. Each serving should be about 3.5 ounces cooked, or about 3/4 of a cup of flaked fish. Fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, herring, lake trout, sardines, and albacore tuna are high in omega-3 fatty acids. Increasing omega-3 fatty acid consumption through foods is preferable. However, those with coronary artery disease or simply do not like fish may not get enough omega-3 by diet alone. These people may want to talk to their doctor about supplements. And for those with high triglycerides, even larger doses could help. Always talk with your physician before taking any unprescribed supplements. There are many ways to prepare fish. It is preferred to enjoy fish baked or grilled, not fried. Choose low sodium, low fat seasonings such as spices, fresh herbs, lemon juice, and other flavorings in cooking and at the table to help control any added fat or sodium to the meal. Look for all of the recipes prepared today on our Facebook page under the Healthy Recipes tab. Stay tuned for future Men in Aprons cooking videos. Thank you again for viewing.